Okay guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at how to get better drone shots. So these are my top 5 tips for better drone photography, videography, just overall shots with your drone. So tip number 1 is always use manual modes. Whether you're in the DJI Fly app or you have some other type of drone, if there's a manual setting, stick to it, because trust me, getting the image as close to how you want it right out the camera is just the best bet. You don't want to leave everything to post because you're going to frustrate yourself and you're overall just going to get a bad result. It's not going to look as good as if you just expose correctly on the drone itself. So make sure it's in manual mode. Make sure you keep your ISO as low as possible. This DJI Air 2S actually has a fixed aperture, so you can't change that. So you might want to pick out some ND filters. Something really crucial that you'll want to have in your settings is make sure your shutter speed is actually double your frame rate. So I normally use 24 FPS on this, pretty much because it just looks better. And obviously the 60 FPS on the Air 2S has a crop factor, so it's going to actually zoom in. And sometimes I don't want that. Sometimes I want it to be nice and wide. So I feel like the best bet is to just stick to 24. And I can always just fly slow in cine mode and I can speed it up. I can do those sort of speed ramps in post. But I like to just capture this slow cinematic shot. And so I normally keep the shutter speed to 1/50th of a second just because it's going to give you a better look. It's going to give you the correct motion blur for that cinematic vibe. And if your image is still too bright with all those settings, then you're going to want to pick up an ND filter. They are kind of expensive, but you can pick up third-party ones. They just clip on the front here. And honestly, they're a lifesaver because you're going to get the correct motion blur in your shots, and overall your footage is going to look a lot better if you just make use of those ND filters. So go pick some up. So my tip number 2 is actually not really specifically for your benefit, but it kind of is. I would say shoot longer, more consistent shots. So I would get into the habit of, I would fly in, I'd quickly just get this like pan or this moving forward shot, and it would only be like a few seconds, like 5 to 10 seconds. And shooting short clips can be ideal because, storage requirements and, your drone has limited battery life, so you don't want to try and drag the clips out too long. But I would say try get them 20 to 30 seconds of consistent shots. So rather than, 5 seconds where it's actually smooth and then your drone jitters and you sort of move it around while it's still recording, just get that 20 to 30 second consistent shot. Trust me, this can be really useful if you want to upload your footage to stock websites. If you have longer clips, it's going to be more ideal for people who are looking online to buy drone shots. They want long shots to put on their website or to cut and get like the best bit out of. So having a long clip, giving them more variety of a shot, it's going to be a lot better for you in terms of making money on stock footage websites. And it's going to be better for those people looking for footage. Obviously, besides stock footage, it just gives you more to work with. The longer your clip, it allows you to do things like speed it up, it allows you to speed ramp, and overall, you're just going to have a more consistent shot. There's more likelihood that you'll be able to grab a small section out of that clip the longer it is. So don't get it too long, but also don't get it too short. Now, tip number 3, make use of the crop factor. Now, obviously, I mentioned the crop factor is sometimes bad because if you want to capture that nice wide shot, you're better just going at 24 because you're going to get a wider field of view. However, if you do want to zoom in on something specific like a lighthouse or some object specifically, then rather than zooming in, you're going to lose resolution by doing that. You want to switch over to 4K 60, and then you're going to get the crop factor, which will actually punch in closer to the thing you're shooting, but you'll still get the full 4K resolution. Another benefit of this is you can go ahead and slow it down in post. So if you do want to stick to 24 FPS, you can always go slow it down and get a nice slow-mo shot that's punched in and you're not going to lose resolution. So tip number 4 is record in those flatter profiles. In the DJI Fly app, you can actually choose from 2 flat profiles, and one is more flat than the other. They're kind of similar to something like C-Log. So you're going to get kind of this unsaturated, uncontrasted, unsharpened base image. And then once you bring that into post, you can go and color grade it, you can apply a LUT, and it's going to give you better dynamic range because you're sort of bringing up the shadows and you're sort of bringing down the highlights. And overall, you're going to get a more cinematic looking shot. And also, if you overexpose a little bit, if you record flat, then it's just going to be a little bit better. You're going to have more control and likelihood of saving your shot. So that's tip number 4. So my tip number 5 is actually more to do with the photo aspect of the drone. So I actually flew this a lot and captured a lot of pictures, but the problem with cameras is they don't expose the same way our eyes do. So they can only really expose for the darkest area of the image or the lightest area. And whenever it focuses on the light area, your darks are going to be crushed. When it focuses on the dark areas, your highlights are going to be blown out. So if you go and shoot in HDR, which is called AEB mode, I'm pretty sure, in the DJI Fly app, it's going to take multiple pictures exposed for those different areas of the scene, and then it's going to combine them together to give you a picture with better dynamic range. So if your pictures are kind of looking a bit blown out or a bit crunched, if you're shooting a lot of scenery, this is going to be a big problem, especially when the sun is directly shining into the lens of the camera. So if you do want to capture some nice landscape pictures with the sunlight that's really bright, then I would highly recommend you use the HDR mode in order to capture those pictures. Also, use manual settings for your pictures as well, because again, you're going to be able to have better control, and overall you're going to get a better result. Once your image is blown out, you're pretty much screwed. You're not going to be able to fix that in Lightroom. But yeah, that's my tips for today. So they are my 5 tips on sort of the stuff I use, the way I use my drone, the settings, all that sort of stuff. And if you want to check out some shots, you can check out my photography page. But I actually did a dedicated review on my tech channel of this DJI Air 2S. So if you want to check that out, link to that will also be down below. I love this drone. I need to do more videos on this. Like damn, I need more videos on drones. Drones are cool. You guys are also pretty cool if you subscribe. So I'll see you later. Peace.